Sometimes strength isn't about fighting harder, it's about walking away first. A stoic man doesn't wait to be shattered. He doesn't beg for closure or chase someone who's already left in spirit. Because when you have the courage to walk away before you're broken, you send a message louder than words. That your peace, your dignity, and your control are worth more than anyone's temporary affection. This isn't weakness, it's power, the silent kind that commands respect. Most men don't realize when it's already over. They keep holding on, not to the woman, but to the idea of her. They replay every memory, every text, every moment, trying to convince themselves there's still something left to save. But Stoicism teaches a brutal truth. The longer you hold on to what's gone, the deeper you bleed. You lose sleep. You lose focus. You start losing yourself. And the worst part? She can feel it. A woman senses when a man is emotionally trapped, and instead of pulling him closer, it pushes her further away. The Stoic path says, don't cling to what no longer serves your peace. Let go, not because you stopped caring, but because your inner world deserves freedom. When you understand this, you stop seeing leaving as loss and start seeing it as liberation. When a woman starts to drift away, most men panic. They send long messages, they call, they explain, they beg for closure. But Stoic men understand something deeper. You never chase peace through noise. Silence is the language of self-control. When you stay silent, you say, I respect myself too much to fight for what doesn't want to stay. That silence becomes power. It unsettles her because she expected reaction, drama, weakness, but you gave her stillness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When she pulls away and you stay calm, you break the cycle of emotional dependence. You stop mirroring her behavior and return to your center, that unshakable place where your peace doesn't depend on anyone's validation. Remember, silence is not coldness. It's strength under control. It tells the world you've mastered your emotions, not surrendered them. And that's where real attraction begins, because the man who can stay quiet when others beg commands respect without saying a word. A transition from silence into emotional discipline, the next Stoic truth that keeps you unbreakable. Too many men confuse detachment with not caring, but Stoic detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's the ability to love deeply without losing yourself in the process. When you're emotionally attached, every small shift shakes your foundation. Her silence hurts. Her mood defines your day. But when you practice detachment, you reclaim control over your inner world. You stop asking, what does she feel about me? And start asking, what do I stand for, no matter what happens? Epictetus said, we suffer not from events, but from our judgment about them. The Stoic man learns to pause before reacting, to see emotion as information, not command. That space between feeling and response, that's where your strength grows. Detachment means you can walk beside someone without needing to own them. You can care without collapsing when they leave. Because your peace doesn't depend on their affection, it depends on your discipline. And once you master that inner freedom, you become the kind of man no loss can destroy. We'll dive deeper into how leaving at the right time isn't weakness, but the mark of a Stoic leader. There comes a moment every man faces, the moment he knows it's time to walk away, not because he stopped caring, but because he finally remembered his worth. And that moment is where true power begins. Walking away doesn't mean you lost. It means you refuse to keep losing yourself. Most men stay in situations that drain them, hoping things will change, while slowly betraying their own values. But Stoicism teaches that a man who knows when to leave is stronger than one who always stays. When you walk away calmly, you signal something rare. emotional sovereignty. You're saying, my peace is not for sale. My dignity is not negotiable. And that energy commands respect from her and from the world. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Walking away is the practical application of that wisdom. It's the moment you stop trying to fix what doesn't align with your growth and start choosing silence, distance, and direction instead. Because sometimes leaving isn't rejection, it's elevation. You're not running from her. You're walking back to yourself. We'll explore how Stoic calm doesn't just protect your peace, it draws others toward your strength. When a man loses control of his emotions, he loses respect from others and from himself. But when he masters his emotions, something powerful happens. People begin to feel his presence before he even speaks. That's the paradox of Stoic strength. The calmer you are, the more influence you have, because chaos seeks stability. When she sees a man who doesn't flinch under pressure, who doesn't react to every emotional storm, she can't help but notice. Your control becomes her curiosity. Your composure becomes your charisma, and your silence becomes your statement. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." Emotional control is freedom. Freedom from manipulation, from anxiety, from neediness. It's not that you stop feeling, it's that you stop serving your feelings. You direct them instead of being directed by them. Every time you respond with calm instead of chaos, you build quiet power. The kind that doesn't demand attention, it commands it. Because a man who controls his emotions doesn't just attract women, he attracts respect, opportunity, and peace. Next, we'll uncover how Stoic men transform heartbreak into discipline and pain into wisdom. Every man faces rejection, every man feels loss. But what separates the weak from the wise is how they respond to it. Most men break down, overanalyzing what went wrong, blaming themselves, or seeking validation from the same person who walked away. A Stoic man does something different. He observes his pain. He doesn't fight it or drown in it. He studies it. He understands that rejection is not a reflection of his worth, but a redirection toward his growth. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The Stoic doesn't suppress emotion, he channels it. He turns heartbreak into motivation, loss into clarity, and disappointment into deeper self-awareness. When you stop fearing rejection, you become untouchable. You no longer chase people to heal your wounds. You become the man who heals himself through discipline, focus, and silence. Every loss becomes a lesson, every goodbye a form of training, because through every ending you learn this unshakable truth. Nothing external has the power to destroy the man who masters his inner world. We'll close by discovering how a Stoic man moves forward, not by seeking love, but by living with purpose that commands respect. Once you've mastered silence, detachment, and emotional control, there's only one path left: purpose. Because power means nothing without direction. A Stoic man doesn't chase people, he chases progress. He turns the energy he once wasted on seeking love into building a life that demands respect. Purpose is what separates a man who reacts from a man who leads. When your actions are driven by mission, not emotion, you stop being predictable and start being powerful. She may not understand your silence. She may not see your growth right away. But the moment you align your life with purpose, you stop orbiting anyone. You become the center of your own universe. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's the Stoic code. Build yourself. Discipline your mind. Master your focus. Because a man grounded in purpose doesn't beg, chase, or explain. He simply moves forward. And ironically, that's when the world, and yes, even she, begins to follow. A final reflection that ties all lessons together. where leaving becomes not an act of weakness, but the ultimate expression of strength. At some point in every man's life, there comes a choice: keep chasing what's slipping away, or walk away with your dignity intact. The weak man begs to be understood. The stoic man chooses silence because he understands himself. He doesn't need to win her back. He needs to win himself back. Walking away first isn't coldness. It's clarity. The understanding that peace is more valuable than attention, and self-respect is worth more than any temporary affection. When you leave before you're broken, you teach yourself the ultimate lesson: you don't need to control anyone, only your own emotions. And that control is what makes you unforgettable. Remember this: you don't rise by chasing what's leaving. You rise by walking away, calm and certain, knowing your silence says everything your words never could. That's the stoic power, the kind that never begs, never explains, and never breaks. So walk away first, and watch how the world learns to follow your peace. If this message resonated with you, don't just listen, live it. Subscribe for more stoic truths that sharpen your mind, strengthen your discipline, and remind you that the strongest men always move in silence.